Top laners, welcome. Today's all about mastering the farm rotation so you can absolutely crush your early game and lead into the middle game with a fantastic experienced lead by utilizing these tactics that we're going to be talking about. So first things first, what's new on this map? You'll notice that there's only 3 of those bunnies in that main kind of area instead of 4, like in that kind of like the lane walk up that you do, which is cool. But before I get into any tactics, we're just going to pause and consider when the farm is spawning on the map. Okay, so don't worry about my gameplay here, right? This is what we're looking at. There's a bottom farm on our half, bottom farm on their half, right? That's kind of like, if you can imagine, that's like this farm that's like right there, right? It's symmetrical. There's one on our half, one on our half, one on their half, and there's also a contested bunny there. Okay, and you can see it kind of like where the Squirtle is. Like there's the contested thing, and you're like, wait a second, why are you running past the farm? You're talking about a farm rotation. You're actually using a skill to dash away from there. What are you doing? Ignore the gameplay, right? We're just considering when these pieces of farm spawn. So there's one on each side and one contested bunny. So you've got 20 seconds until the next piece of farm spawns. 20. So again, just consider, how are we going to do our rotations? Then at 9 minutes 20, you've got bottom Natus, top. So uncontested, like that's supposed to be yours, supposed to be theirs. This is contested. So it's sort of like anything that I'm doing in green here, that's contested farm. And then these ones up in white, that's supposed to be uncontested on your half. So generally it's like assume that you've got all the farm that you should be getting. So they get their farm, you get your farm. You're getting the experience lead by getting the contested farm. But you can absolutely steamroll them if you take this and then you go take this, or even take this, bully them away from that, take that, and then go take this. Or even better yet, take this while you're all fighting for it, take theirs, and then go take yours. And that way you can absolutely master like the next round of rotations that come after that. But 9 minutes 20, that's when all this farm spawns here. So this is very, very good. Okay, then what else? What else spawns? At 9 minutes 10, you can see I'm running straight to it. At 9 minutes 10, there's another piece of contested farm here. And you'll also notice there's, different color, uncontested back, like where the crab used to be. That piece of farm spawns as well. So again, just pay attention. We're just talking about timers for the minute. Just talking about timers. And then at 9 minutes, you'll notice in the middle of the map, there's some farm as well. And in fact, that's actually contested. So that's 9 minutes. So that's not necessarily for your top lane. Although if your team's getting absolutely dumped, it's worthwhile going to get a little bit of that farm and then going back up and seeing if you can get a little bit of contested. But you know, that's generally 95% of the time is not really going to get touched in your SoloQ games. And then of course the big one is the 8 minute 50 largely contested birds that are kind of right here, right in the middle here. Okay, my point here now is this is kind of like the last piece of information. Most of you guys probably already know this, but you've got to keep this under wraps. Notice the time when this thing dies. Okay. So it is 9 minutes 31 is when this piece of farm goes down. 9 minutes 31. Okay. Go forward 30 seconds. Look what's back on the map at 8 minutes 31. And you'll notice I'm hanging out for it because I'm expecting it right here. 8 minutes 33, 32, 31. 8 minutes 31, there it is right there. Okay, we're just expecting it to be back. So this farm here is going to respawn every minute from when it has been secured. Okay, that's very, very important for you to understand. Like like more of you guys should know this, but I'm surprised that you don't. Because this is going to inform how you're doing your rotations in your lane. It's very important. It's very critical to get right. Even the birds, right? You'll see that the birds, if I go back a minute, it's 9:15 is when they would have been just about secured, right? 9:16, we're moving on. So 8:15, they're spawning again. So the farm is going to show up 1 minute after you're securing. So again, we're going to run back through this lane now, but not looking at the timers. Now that we know the timers, how are we going to play our lane accordingly? You plan this. Like if you plan this and you go in with the character that you've got and you identify your matchups quickly and you're going to be you're absolutely going to be able to dominate really, really well. So I noticed straight away, I'm a Lucario, I'm versing a Gardevoir. I have control of this lane. I'm an early spiker, I'm versing a scaler, and the support player who is a Mr. Mime does not have range poke to pester me. I have complete control over this lane. You need to understand your matchup. Okay, if I'm versing Pikachu Snorlax, completely different. If I'm versing like Hooper Machop, completely different. Okay, that's why those sorts of lanes are very, very tricky. Here I've got Blastoise Lucario. This is a fantastic lane. And so here I'm running to stack because I want to get scores in. And then you'll notice the general theme is take contested farm, or even better yet, take their farm before you take your farm. What do I mean by that? This farm here, I'm not going to take that bit of farm that's all the way back over there. I want to take this farm. I want to take this farm before I consider going back. Okay, but you got to be careful here though, because like if you die, then you're giving away everything in the lane. So, okay, and you'll notice that you've got to secure it. So like use your skills to secure the piece of farm. Okay, that's like important. And when you're using Lucario, like Meteor Mash is a shove, and then you just go through with quick attack straight away. And you should be able to pretty much secure everything. I like to quick attack onto the goal zone so I can get out, and I've got X speed here to eat a berry. Now you can see here I'm playing as safely as I can. So what's happened in this time? Consider our lane here. Their farm has been contested. Our farm's not touched. We'll go back to this piece of farm here whenever we want. We're not interested in that right now. And I'm glad he is playing very, very well. He's a random. He's my SoloQ random. He's very good. Thank you, Blastoise. And now, guess where we're going? We're going straight to contested farm number 2. I mean, I even sit in the bush and wait. It's like, I don't want to run back to my farm. They're going to have to overcommit and die. So we get all that contested. So think about the experience lead that you're getting here. The theme is take contested farm, their farm, then your farm. Or better yet, their farm, contested farm, your farm. Okay, let me take that. That was our farm because that was, there was this bit of farm here, but that's maybe a little bit riskier to take considering his health and the range and and the jungler's gone bottom. Okay, we're going to get to jungler tactics and everything in a later video. But you can see here, I run straight to this. And you'll notice as well, another tactic that I do is I like to shove this farm away from the enemy. And that's what Squirtle was doing. I'm not sure if you noticed Squirtle doing that with his water gun or whatever the skill's called. He pushes it back towards our side of the map. So very, very cool stuff. And now you can see here, we've got an absolutely massive advantage. We've got no EXP share in the top lane, and we've got level 5, level 4, just about. So we have an absolutely monstrous lead over the enemy. So consider that's how we've played, and always keep this in mind. It's like, how's our rotation gone? We've gone here, taken this farm, 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 and then boom. So what do you think my next round of rotations is going to look like? Well, it's probably going to look pretty similar. Take that, and then if we can take that, then that, then that, then that, then that, right? That's going to, like, your first round is going to dictate the rest of the rotations in the lane. This is a key concept. I know some of you guys know this, like some of the better players know this, but there's heaps of players who get this wrong. This is this very, very core concept that you've got to get right. So it's bees. I picked up power up punch here because, and I'm not power up punching the farm because it's single target. I'm power up punching them so I can kill them. And by the way, okay, I've gone over something a little bit too quick here. Right, so you can see here, I'm trying to hit the support with this because it does a whole bunch of damage. Take him out, and you see here I've got a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I could try and dance around and try and get the KO on him and da-da-da-da-da. I don't care about that. I want experience. I don't care if I kill him at this stage. What I want to do is I've got my eye on the time, so I know that this bottom farm here is going to spawn pretty quickly, and then I'm going to go through my rotation, so bang, 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 once again, and I've got 27 score. So if I get the opportunity to, I've got to score that as quickly as I can, and that's exactly what I do. You can see I'm standing on the edge of the goal zone, not wasting any time, because if I had mucked around, I wasn't going to be able to secure that farm. And then you see here, I put myself in the maximum distance away from his goal zone, and I shove it away, take the farm, and this is pretty much, yeah, contested farm here. Yeah, I don't get that. The Mr. Mime actually does really well. Shove them back, take contested farm if we can, if it's safe. Okay, and this is going to depend on how willing to take risks you are. But I've opted for health and to stay alive and given them a couple of Natus. Now, I've rotated in this case in the game to the middle because I want to help my Talonflame get online as quickly as I can. Unfortunately, he's not quite level 7 yet, which is a little frustrating. But yeah, he's actually died and given the Dream Eater combo, so their Gengar's gotten a double KO, which is really, really bad for our team. Like, really, really bad. The Regidrago, we only got like a little bit of experience for that. So the middle game play was probably not excellent there. But hopefully you're seeing and you're identifying these core rotational differences that are going to occur in the top lane. And why have we come to the bottom lane here? Well, yeah, because we want to get kills. We want to win this objective. And Squirtle was up in the top lane. He's kind of just chilling. So that is the early game plan and the early game rotation. Let's have a look at another example. Okay, let's hop on to the next example. Now, I've picked this one deliberately because as it turns out, this is like a nice example of, and it's a nice example in many ways. It's the same character. It's a different matchup in lane, but it's also showing when things don't go well, what can you do to make sure that your lane doesn't get absolutely steamrolled? So like I'm telling you right now, this lane does not go as well as we'd like it to. So the first thing that I notice is, do I run in and go for a stack? I do not, because I've got a ranged person here and a ranged person there. So by the time I go in and then come back out, I'm going to take a lot of damage from them ranged on the way in, and then a lot of damage on the way out. And even when I'm all the way over here, they're still going to be back here getting damage on me, and I'm probably going to die. So I want to make sure that I'm not doing that. I want to make sure that I'm, well, not dying, securing farm, getting a bit of an experience lead, and then fighting when the jungler comes up. Now, how do I know that the jungler is going to come up? Well, I'm noticing his pathing here is looking like this. Okay, and have I noticed that already? I have, because I'm paying attention to what the jungler is doing, because that's ultimately going to inform how we're playing the lane. If you don't have your eyes on that, you're going to miss a key, something that's key that's going to help you guys potentially win or potentially lose your lanes, and exactly where the enemy jungler is as well. So you'll notice that we didn't secure that farm that was contested, which is really, really bad considering we're a Lucario, and we absolutely should be securing that, so it's not excellent. However, you notice that, and this is subtle here, we're sitting in the bush, and the game plan here is we've got vision. They're not kind of crossing this point here, and it's very unlikely that they've run all the way around from the back. So the vision tells us that they're probably going to be here, or they're probably going to be here, like running in that way. Now, our jungle is coming up, so our jungle is going to be coming up through here, which is very, very good, because we want to have vision, we want to bait the enemies in, and then we want to have them killed. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. You'll notice that I'm not interested in any of the farm, and there's a lot of farm that's sitting up on the map. Our jungle comes in, which is absolutely excellent, and we just fully commit to the fight, and the enemy jungler is down in the bottom lane, so that's really, really good. We're able to get a stack in here and then secure some of this farm. So what turned out to be a bit of a tough or a tricky start, we've absolutely turned it around, and you can see we take these birds before we take any of the farm on our side, because again, the birds contested farm, and our APOMs aren't. So you'll notice here again, vision, 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 because I want to do as well as I can. We've got a lot of offense. Fortunate enough here not to die. So I would love to continue this fighting here, but you notice that our jungler has died. And yeah, we weren't in a position to continue to capitalize on those rotations in the top lane. So like we couldn't perfectly time those 1 minute intervals, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, we want to do what we can do. So we want to make sure that we're not dying. And I knew I could go in that deep with extreme speed and get out because, well, I've got extreme speed and I have my full heal and everything like that. So you can see this lane is not going that well, but it could be absolutely catastrophic if we die. And you can see that's exactly what I'm making sure that I don't do. It's like, don't die. If we die, this lane falls over. So yes, is it going, Is it going well? Well, no, it's not going very well at all. It's actually going the opposite from well. It's going terribly. And you can see that look at our this bottom lane, so frustrating. This is kind of like where it falls over a little bit. I probably should have stayed top, but I thought that bottom lane needed the support, but they're needing the support because look at our tank. Our tank's just running in and scoring and like sitting in these bushes here. He's not helping the team participate whatsoever. And that's pretty much why we're struggling. He's not there. So our bottom lane's being crushed again by players who aren't exactly playing to their role. And yeah, really, really bad position. However, that could have been steamrolled a heck of a lot worse in that top lane if we had have died, because this lane would have fallen over. And then ultimately, based on how the bottom lane was going, this lane would have probably also fallen over if they got a whole bunch of experience lead and funneled it through into the bottom lane. So this could have been a very, very bad game. And we've kind of made it go from a potential catastrophe to something that's definitely manageable. Not even their team has the advantage. Let's have a look at a third example. Okay, so in this third example, I have picked Leafeon, and you can see in this game there is a Mimikyu, there is a Greninja, there is a Glaceon, and there is a Decidueye on my team. So you have guessed it, this is a fairly low elo game. I wouldn't be doing this in a high elo lobby. You can see, what am I going for here? Well, I'm going for as much farm as I can possibly get because I need to get level 4. And we notice that there's really nobody here stopping us. Because they've got a Sableye and what looks like they're playing more of a disruptive kind of game plan, which is cool because it allows us to get Leafeon. But also I'm going to be keeping my eye on all of these rotations here. Again, contested farm first, get some scores where we can. And then we have an eject button. We're going to use that. We're going to turn around and we're going to rip as much damage out as we can as well. But we also want to make sure that we're hitting farm while we're going through, I'll show you what I mean. So what I mean here is, if you're going to hit this guy here, you might as well try and hit some farm in the process. That was bad. If you're going to hit this guy here with a skill like Solar Blade, you might as well try and hit some farm in the process. And that's exactly what I've tried to do. So I secure the farm. I don't let him get any of it. He comes back and I'm not quite sure why. He knows I'm Solar Blade. So yeah, really, really bad for the enemy team right now. And you can see that their Sableye is kind of eyeing off a bit of our farm. I'm going to leave him to do his scoring and everything else. And then when he's in like an inescapable position, we'll be able to rip him out. So a bit of a quiet lane, and you can definitely take advantage of these rotations here because the enemy Talonflame looks like he's been doing some jungle invading with his team. Which is absolutely not excellent because you can see the downside of this, which is not very good. And you'll notice here that you must not die. You've got to be able to try and get out as alive as you can, but don't base, right? Because there's plenty of health and you can get some healing based off hitting the farm. So level 7, nice and early, a lot of panning of the map. Take as much contested experience as you possibly can, and then I see if I can pan over, see if there's any of their farm, secure that, get a kill on him, which is fantastic. And now I've got our ult at 7 minutes 50. So it's like, okay, well, how are the rotations fitting in here? Well, I'm deliberately picking these games because, like, in theory, what's best is like 1 minute, bang, 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 bang. But that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes the case is going to be that you've got to be a little bit more flexible with it. But the bottom line, or like, I guess the general theme is that it's contested farm before any other farm. And you can absolutely see that is the case pretty much every single time that I've been playing in all of these games, right? Especially with this Leafeon game. It's like, I've barely been interested in our farm. My eyes have always been panning over to the enemy side of the map to see if I can get as much vision as I possibly can. So you can see, like, here we've been fortunate. The enemies have decided to, play a little bit differently, play a little bit off meta, and they've absolutely been punished because I've taken all of their experience. And yeah, we've hit level 10 by pretty much the end of the early game, which is a very, very, very good for our team. All right, so guys, hopefully you got some value out of this part 1 of the series of like this top lane fundamentals. And we're going to be getting a little bit more advanced as the videos go on. But really, it's like we really can't talk about other stuff until we've got this kind of concept agreed on and under wraps. So again, I hope you got some value, and I really look forward to you learning a couple of things and getting some value. And guys, if you do find this useful, or if you like this kind of different idea of doing like more of a stretched out 3-part series with a bit more in depth and many examples, please absolutely do let me know, because your feedback is valuable for how I direct the content on this channel.